I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man, oh, man.
And it's official. Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett formally launching her Senate run in Texas and highlighting President Trump's past insults towards her in the process. The seat is currently held by Republican John Cornyn, and Crockett says she is confident of a flip.
Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do, but they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do.
All right, let's bring in Karl Rove, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff and Fox News contributor. A friend of mine, Colin Reed, says that Texas is fool's gold for Democrats in statewide races. Has anything changed?
Not really, but this is going to be highly entertaining. Let's be clear, the early coverage of this is that inside the Democrats, this is going to be a battle between the left and the center. That's not going to be the case. It is not left versus moderate. It is nutty versus not nutty. James Tallarico, the other Democrat in the race, is as liberal as Jasmine Crockett is. It's just that he's not as nutty as she is. She served in the Texas House for one term. She was known for giving inflammatory statements, generally only to reporters, and for achieving virtually nothing. And she has been that way in the U.S.
Okay, a couple of things here. Colin Allred's a Democrat, too. So he gets ahead of it by, I think, 2 hours yesterday.
Yep.
A lot of Democrats liked him, too, all right? So he gets out of the race and announces it this way.
Going through a bruising primary, and in Texas we have a runoff, and we would certainly have a runoff in this case, was not in the best interest of the state or the party. I'm friends with Jasmine. I've known her for some time. And I think it's important that we go into November with a unified party.
Okay, that's his position. Here's the deal on Axios with Chuck Schumer. The Senate Minority Leader and the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee probably could have tried to keep Crockett out if they were strong, but they're not. They're the weakest they've ever been. We've been talking about them being weak for several years now.
Yeah.
Are they still that way?
Please, yes, absolutely. Schumer's ability to, raise money is still there, but his ability to affect who's in and who's out in a Democratic primary is gone. In fact, count on it, both Tallarico and Crockett will say that Schumer should not be Senate leader, and then they'll be hoping that he will shower them with cash in the general election, which he's capable of doing. But look, let's be clear. You'll notice she gave her talk off of a teleprompter. That's about the only time we're going to see her under control. She is capable of saying the most extraordinary things. Our governor, who is paralyzed in a freak accident as a young man, is in a wheelchair, and she, belittles him for that. And she is capable of doing that kind of thing every day in every way possible. It's going to be highly entertaining.
You will not be bored, that's for sure. Does this matter at all for Senator Cornyn? He's running for re-election, but he's got a primary on the Republican side that might be tough for him. But does Jasmine entering the race matter in that primary at all?
Well, it probably matters a little because it causes Republicans to say, I can do anything I want with my vote because we can beat that woman. I mean, Allred was a credible Democrat candidate. He had done a lot in the Dallas business community to advance the city of Dallas. He was a more moderate candidate, and even he lost to Theodore Cruz by 9 points.
Here's Cornyn. I think she wins the Democratic primary, and she's the worst possible candidate they could have in Texas. She's unelectable.
I think he's absolutely right about being unelectable.
Is she better or worse than Beto O'Rourke?
Robert Francis O'Rourke,
Sorry.
Look, I'm not certain she's going to be the winner. That would be the only thing. Because, look, Democrats are desperate to have a credible candidate. And over the course of the next 3.5 months, she is going to be seen as not really credible.
Okay, let's play one more thing from her. She says that she claims that Texas is not red. It's just that other people that wouldn't vote for Republicans, Democrats, or progressives don't turn out to vote. Watch.
They tell us that Texas is red.
They lie.
They are lying. We're not. The reality is that most Texans don't get out to vote.
You know Texas politics better than anyone. What do you think of that?
Well, full disclosure, I'm the chairman of a voter registration group that in the last 3 cycles has added 573,000 new Republicans to the rolls.
Wow.
And
how many Democrats added during that time?
Well, we don't register by party. These are people we identify using sophisticated data. and know that they're Republicans and get them registered. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at it, since 2018, the Republican statewide margin has increased in every election since then. So Ted Cruz, who won by 3 points in the race against Robert Francis O'Rourke, won by 9 points 2 years ago, and we're again active in that. And the ticket is going to be led by Governor Abbott, who has nearly $90 million in the bank and a very focused effort at getting out the vote. So she can say, oh, the Democrats are really the majority in Texas, but the election returns do not show it, and the gap is getting bigger rather than smaller. The people who moved into Texas in the last several years, we ran a poll in the last election, and their generic ballot of people who were newly moved into Texas was 59R 41D.
Interesting.
Wow. Take it out broader map. We're going to talk to death for 11 months about the midterms, especially on the House side. You've got redistricting in how many states? Just all over the map. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Missouri, Indiana, California, Illinois, you name it. As you break down what's happening among all 50 states, let's say, if you were to vote today, are you able to say whether or not the Democrats have the edge in the redistricting, or can Republicans hold their own in an off-year midterm election where the economy will be issue number one?
Well, we don't know today, but you're right. The economy is going to be critical, and people's attitudes about the economy are sour, and their approval of the president is in the mid to low 30s, depending on what poll you look at on the economy. So the Republicans have got a lot of work to do. Now, are these redistricting wars going to have an advantage for one party or the other? Again, it's state by state. California, it's going to work for the Democrats. Texas, it's going to work for the Republicans. But we also have to be clear that it's a very tight contest. For example, Texas. My personal view, it's not going to be 5 Republican seats. One of those seats is Henry Cuellar's. As long as he is the Democratic nominee in a seat based around Laredo, he's likely to win. He ran ahead of the Harris ticket and the Biden ticket, and the president gave him a pardon on. He was up for charges on corruption. Well, that seat is likely to be won, and that's one of the ones that the Republicans said we got 5 shots at pickup 5. Not likely to happen.
Wow.
I'm thinking today, if I were to make a prediction, whoever wins the majority, if the Republicans keep it or Democrats take it, it's going to be slim again.
Absolutely.
Either side is going to be slim.
We're in a time of highly polarized politics, but you have to give the advantage to the Democrats. In post-World War II, we've only had 2 midterm elections in which the White House party picked up seats. Right. 1998, where Bill Clinton's approval rating was in the 60s, and 2002, when George W. Bush's was in the 60s. I happened to be at the White House then. Let me tell you, even with a 60% approval rating, it was a very close thing.
Right.
Very hard.
All right, Carl, thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.